very well-known global organizations such as Greenpeace, we're seeing them take very different approaches. Approach number one is going for the cute and fuzzy, the soft, the kind of the bunny hugger sort of approach. Whereas Greenpeace tend to go for the jugular. They tend to get out there. They tend to do things that make people sit back and take notice. And it's not always met in a very welcoming manner. I think some of their actions can be very, very destructive. I am an environmentalist. I am a conservationist. I believe that certain actions need to be taken. But I don't believe that we necessarily have to have the soft approach like Pete has taken. But I also don't necessarily believe that staunch acts of eco-terrorism, such as what you saw in the first clip, are the way to go. The question again that I wanted to bring forward to you is that are these environmental activists doing more harm than good? Now, if I could, my fabulous husband Pat's doing camera and the awesome Pete is directing. And on that note, what I'd like to do is for Pete to run another clip that I found for you, which is on one of the Greenpeace ships, and it deals specifically with tuna fishing. So let you watch how they dealt with this particular issue, and then we can discuss it after that. So Pete, if you could roll the clip, please.
Having travelled over 1,000 nautical miles in pursuit of the world's largest tuna fishing vessel, and chased it for 5 days, the crew of the Greenpeace ship Esperanza finally caught the Alberton Tress. We were hoping to find this massive tuna destroyer in the act of fishing, and ideally would have liked to stop the net from closing, but unfortunately they were already hauling it in when we arrived at first light. We knew the Alberton Tress at 115 meters long was huge, but to see her up close was something else. This ship can take 3,000 tons of tuna in a single trip, which is nearly double the catch of some Pacific Island countries in a whole year. Tuna stocks in this fragile region are declining, and there simply isn't enough fish in the sea to keep filling the holds of these large vessels. The Spanish company that owns this ship is trying to expand its fleet despite scientists warning that fishing needs to be reduced. Foreign fishing companies have no shame and target the poorest and most vulnerable countries in order to gain access to fish in their waters. Our activists laid a banner across the net to highlight how this destructive activity is wiping away the main source of food and income for Pacific Island countries. United, and with support from around the world, the people of the Pacific can stop foreign fishing fleets from wiping away their future. Vessels of this size cannot be left to plunder and empty out the remaining tuna stocks, and need to be taken off the water and scrapped immediately in order to address the overcapacity of the world's tuna fleets.
And we're back. And the crew is hot under the debate lights here tonight. They're having a little debate. That clip is a very clear illustration about how something that matters is taking place, and without Greenpeace having been there to bring this issue to the public arena, we wouldn't actually know what is going on. Now, I like this clip, and I'll tell you why I like this clip. I like this clip because it shows a bunch of people getting together who believe in what they're doing and who are doing things ultimately for a good cause. And the way that they've engaged with the fishing trawler in that particular clip was very effective, I thought. They didn't, in my mind, cross any boundaries. They didn't hamper the ship. They didn't put anybody's lives in danger, that is, their own lives or any of the lives of the crew. And they made their statement. They got the message out there. And I have to tell you, quite frankly, I was very disturbed by seeing these trawlers go out there. I mean, the amount of fish that particular one takes on alone, as you heard in the clip, it takes more tuna in one catch than other small coastal countries are allotted as their quota for the annum. In other words, a small country that can't afford to pay all the various concessions and companies what they need to pay are losing out, because you get these big guys coming in and doing, quite frankly, in my opinion, massive amounts of damage. But then I wondered to myself, am I not being a bit hypocritical? Because I have eaten tuna in my life. I know lots of people who eat tuna. In fact, I know some people who even give tuna treats to their cats. So how do we find this balance? And when I see environmental activists like Greenpeace taking that kind of action, I feel good about it, because it's nothing that's endangering. Ellie Spot has come to us with the comment saying they have to find ways to get the regular person to take action. We can't all go out on a boat with Greenpeace, and that's an excellent comment. In fact, thank you very much for that. That's part of the conflict I'm caught in. I'm here, I'm on Juma with the WildEarth team. I cannot be on the Greenpeace boat, but I have to do something. If I sit back as a human being occupying this planet and I don't take cognizance of the issues and I don't take responsibility for my part in that issue, then I'm not in a position to actually comment, because I'm actually doing more harm than good. I'm okay with people eating tuna. I'm not firing down tuna eaters. What I'm saying is that I think we need to be aware of how food sources are actually supplied to us. Just throughout the day, doing a little bit more research, one of the other ways that I found, and I'm referring to Greenpeace quite a lot because they are one of the more prominent organizations. Fantastic story that actually came onto our newsreel about a day ago was about Greenpeace doing what they call boulder dropping. Now, this is, to me, quite a smart way of actually getting around the issue in a non-invasive way. Basically, this is an issue that's happened before in Germany, and now it's occurring in Sweden and Denmark, whereby fishermen are coming and doing deep-sea trawling for cod, which is a bottom-dwelling fish. But the problem is that the type of net trawling that they do is indiscriminate. And they pick up all other manner of ancillary species and sort of additional species that shouldn't be in the net at all. And so what's happening is that, you're getting your cod, but you're also taking out a vast amount of marine life at an astonishing rate, and this is just not able to replenish itself. So I think from Monday, as in today, the Global Environmental Group will drop the boulders, each weighing 1 to 3 tons, in 2 protected areas in the Kattegat, which is in Denmark, I think, that separates the Swedish and Danish mainlands. Now, this to me is quite smart. I think it's a really nice way of actually solving the problem. But again, it's this altruistic attitude that I think can get people into a bit of a mess. How do we turn around and say to fishermen's families that have been fishing cod for a long time and whose livelihoods depend on it, that they are no longer able to perform this function? There's a fine line between respecting the natural order and also respecting the fact that people have to live, they have to eat, they have to earn a living. So a question that I'd like to add on to it and perhaps throw out to you is, how do we draw that line between giving people sustainable livelihoods whilst at the same time giving all of us a sustainable environment that can look after us all for generations to come? I think the variety of viewers' ages out there is quite broad, and I think generation to generation would definitely differ. Pete's busy feeding through your comments to me as you send them. And Arizona Mike has come in and said, our interaction with nature should be in balance. I completely agree. In fact, in part of my anthropological studies, there's one thing that I came across, and I'm sure some people don't share the same viewpoints as me, but there's only been one group of people on this earth that have ever been truly in harmony, and they were the San hunter-gatherers. They lived a life where they were able to interact with and respect nature to the point where they never plundered, they never got greedy, they only took what they needed. And I think humankind has evolved so much, and we've grown so quickly, so fast, in so many ways, that we're suddenly reaching the point where we realize that we're on the brink. And if we had to take something like the boulder dropping with the codfish Greenpeace's initiative, I have to say that I think it's quite effective. But again, they're creating many enemies, and they're not winning over people that they should maybe be winning over in order to win the arguments. There's a lot of criticism about that. One of the Swedish Agriculture and Fisheries Minister had this to say: the actions foreseen by Greenpeace rest on confrontation and unilateralism, which risks threatening necessary cooperation. My hope is that Greenpeace will renounce such action and that instead we solve problems together. I like what he has to say. But I have to say that in an ideal world, this doesn't actually always happen. I think we'll all agree bureaucracy and money, the power that money brings or the lack of money,